James Fabricius starts on pole position with Fraser Anderson for company on the front row. Arthur Farah and Fabian Gandhock on row 2. Jos Huschke and Harry Neeson on row number 3. Leo Livings starts in 7th. Alfie Mayer alongside in P number 8. Buddy Hugo and Marley Fisher, Jack Holmes and Caden Simpson on row number 6. Then it's Morgan Weston in 13th, George Schweier 14th, Lewis Herbertson and Surrey Gallagher on row number 8. Logan Jones starts 17th with Sebastian Clark in 18th. Then it's Elliot Demerlo, Logan Rolfe, Harvey Wagstaff, Alice Fairclough, Harry Quintock and Jack Mellon are your 24 runners in our Micro Max class, because Bailey Wolf and Jack Hutchinson haven't been seen all day. So that's 24 Micro Maxers making their way out onto track here then at Warden Law for their first final of the season. And Fabricius, with 2 heat victories, goes off the front row in the pole position berth. And the field making their way round. Rolling start, of course, for the youngest of our Rotax family, our drivers 7 to 11 years old in micro, and then in mini it's 11 through to 13 or 14. But there's a crossover there for our heavier runners. At 12 years old, you can move up to junior Rotax if you want. They'll run from 12 all the way through to 16 years old for our junior Rotax class. On your screen, Fabricius on the left, Anderson on the right, the field slowing down as they make their way towards the gasworks hairpin here at Warden Law. 74 of Fabian Gandhock just having to move out of the way there. Didn't want to run into the back of the 61 of Anderson as they make their way round in 2 trains of carts. Pace being dictated by Fabricius off the front row. Slows them down. There's a little bit of contact in the background there as the rest of the field don't know the pace that's coming. Through we go. Lights are out and we are away and racing. It's a good start by Fabricius off the front row. He's being pushed all the way down the start straight as well, which that's going to help him by the 24 of Farah. Arthur Farah finding a way through. Fabian Gandhock then up into 3rd place. Anderson, and we've got Buddy Hugo off on the outside there in the 11 with the yellow helmet, along with another kart as well. That's the 36 machine of Jack Holmes. He was running up inside the top 5 earlier on in this race meeting, and I'm sure he'd have had aspirations of a podium because he's had some good pace in the dry here today at Warden Law. As then Anderson goes wide out onto the bumpy rumble strip. Micro Max just trying to find their feet on this opening lap. 12 minutes plus 1 lap for this final in this Micro Max first final of 2023. Gasworks for the first time negotiate. Alfie Mayer in front of Harry Neeson, looks to be in about 6th or 7th place. Will confirm the top 10 standings at the very least as they come over the start-finish line at the end of this first lap. We've got the 30 of Fairclough off and through the tyres down towards the bottom end of the track. It looks like it could be at post 4. Yellow flags are going to be out somewhere, so we'll keep an eye on that. But the 30 of Alice Fairclough moving to Micro Max this year from running in Honda last year, finished 5th in the BKC Championship last year in Honda, moves across to Micro Max but was likely end the first final of the year in retirement. Out onto the back straight our front runners go, and it's still Fabricius leading the way from the 24 of Arthur Farah. They've got a bit of a gap back then to Fabian Gandhock, Fraser Anderson and Jos Huschke. Huschke though coming under pressure from Alfie Mayer with a good move down the inside. A good move as well for the 78 of Leo Livings. Sends one down the inside of the 87, also the 27 I think of Morgan Weston. I know Weston's behind Caden Simpson, so it's Fabricius, Farah, Gandhock, Anderson, Mayer, Huschke, Neeson, Livings, Fisher and Simpson. So it was Marley Fisher in the 81 that Leo Livings managed to find a way through. Field now just calming themselves down for a little bit after Leo Livings has mid-charge through the field there. Still 9 minutes remaining. Neeson sends a move down the inside of Jos Huschke, and Leo Livings makes 2 places up out of that one as well. Neeson forces Huschke wide, so Neeson made up a place and immediately lost it as Leo Livings managed to take advantage as they head towards the right-hander. So it's Fabricius and Farah, the top two. They've got a gap of a second back to Fabian Gandhock and then Fraser Anderson. Then there's this train of karts all the way down from pretty much Fabian Gandhock all the way down to Caden Simpson in 10th place. There's a move down the inside by Fraser Anderson on Gandhock. That moves him up into 3rd place. Gandhock down into 4th. Living's the driver on a charge and setting fastest laps as well. 57.9, the only driver to go sub 58 in this race so far. And then down Alfie Mayer trying to put the move down the inside of Fabian Gandhock. Leo Livings is going to take advantage again of this. Can he keep hold of it? Round the outside, he's going to have to be brave and keep his foot in, because Harry Neesom's coming through as well. Leo Livings is indeed brave and keeps his foot in. Then there's a bit of contact between Neesom. That slows Neesom down. And everybody, we're going to be too wide as we head down towards the Gasworks hairpin. And on the outside, Leo Livings is forced wide by... looks like that could have been Marley Fisher. They're still 2 and 3 wide through the middle of the horseshoe complex. The door now firmly closed and back to single file by the time they make their way round the paddock bend. Fraser Anderson now the driver on the charge. Now he's found a way through up into 3rd place. Has a gap of 1.6 though to close up on Fabricius and Farah at the front. Move down the inside there by the 50 of Sebastian Clark on Josh Huschke. And the 27's coming through as well. That's Morgan Weston. Neesom closing the door on Caden Simpson. Simpson then could run wide here, and that's going to allow Sebastian Clark to get to the inside. Clark keeps his foot in. Simpson has the door firmly closed on him by Sebastian Clark. Brave move there by the 50. Marley Fisher in front of Leo Livings, trying to close in and send a move down the inside of Fabian Gandhock, who seemed to have good pace in the early phase of this race, but it doesn't seem to have transferred as we head towards half race distance. Alfie Mayer now with the fastest lap in 4th place, taking advantage of that slipstream of Fabian Gandhock in front. Leo Livings just behind. Waiting to see which driver makes the move this lap into Senna 1. Livings close enough and pushing down the inside. The 81 of Marley Fisher, and Leo Livings is through as well. The door though not completely closed, and Fabian Gandhock will force him out wide. Down the inside comes Harry Neesom. Sebastian Clark this time takes advantage, and Leo Livings drops 2 places as he tried to make the move, then got forced out wide. Helmet tap as well once again. I think this time by the 50 of Clark. Clark's going to try and run round the outside of Harry Neesom. He's going to struggle to get back in though, because I think Leo Livings was going to put the nose down the inside there. This Micromax final entertainment from start all the way up to now, and I don't think it's going to change. 3 wide down, start finish. Neesom running tight to the inside. Sebastian Clark, and Clark's then going to have to try and defend from Leo Livings. Livings sweeps round the outside on Clark to retake what I believe is 8th place now. Fabricius and Farah, the top 2, leading the way. They've got a gap of 1.5 seconds from Fraser Anderson and Alfie Mayer, leading this train of karts. And it looks like Anderson could well have looked to have broke away. They're still 2 wide, bouncing over the curbs this time. It's the 74 of Gandhock once again, making contact with Leo Livings. 3 wide, and Leo Livings is sent across the grass. Rejoins as well. That's the 82 of George Swire, having to take evasive action. Josh Huschke as well. All started there as the field came together into the back chicane. 32 of Logan Rolfe making his way past George Swire then, as Swire got back up to pace. Just wait until they come over start finish. That left hand side's going to look like a fruit machine with everything moving up or down and everybody into a new place. Sebastian Clark being helped along down the inside of Fabian Gandhock by Caden Simpson. Simpson's going to sweep round the outside as well, and that puts him on the inside as they go towards the dog leg, and Caden Simpson is through. Gandhock up and over the curves on the outside, now coming under pressure from Josh Huschke as they head down the middle straight towards Senna 1. Jack Holmes, who spun on the opening lap, sets the fastest lap of the race, 57.2 for Jack Holmes. Earlier on, we were just trying to find drivers under the 58 mark. Holmes with a 57.2. Superb for him, up into 15th place for Jack Holmes as they make their way through towards the Gasworks hairpin. Still 4 minutes, still 1/3 of this race to go, plus the 1 lap at the end. Bouncing up and over the curbs is the 32 of Logan Rolfe into a straight line, being helped along. Slipstream moves to the inside, trying to find a way down the inside of Fabian Gandhock. Gandhock wide round the first corner, and Logan Rolfe sweeps round the outside. Leo Livings is coming through as well, I think, and Leo Livings is indeed through. George Schweier now the next one to try and take advantage of Fabian Gandhock. Into the left-hander at St John's. Gandhock is wide. Got the 74 under investigation at the moment. That's Fabian Gandhock, who's involved in that battle, just outside the top 10 now in P11 on timing. It's the gap for the leading duo, still a tenth of a second with Arthur Farah just behind Fabricius. Then it's a full second back to Fraser Anderson and Alfie Mayer. This is your leaders then coming over the line. Arthur Farah still in the wheel tracks of Fabricius. Looking, I think, just to move away, knowing that Anderson and Mayer are not too far back. There they are. The gap was around about a second on the previous lap, with the fairly equal lap times between the two of them, but not enough at the moment for them to start battling it out over this victory. They've got to play this one smart as James Fabricius and Arthur Farah. Your top two going through the back chicane with Fraser Anderson and Alfie Mayer battling it out to get onto the final step of the top 3 podium. Looked like Anderson was trying to put a move down the inside of Mayer there as they headed down towards the Gasworks hairpin. Caden Simpson on screen was in P number 9, although we did have Josh Huschke behind him on the previous lap. Looks like there's been a slight change there now, because it looks like Simpson could have made a way past Morgan Weston and Sebastian Clark up into 7th place. Certainly in front of the 27. Expect to see him jump up the order on the left-hand side. He does indeed, up into 7th. Weston, Clark and Huschke then completing your top 10 in front of Livings, Rolfe, Schweier and Gandhock, then Jack Holmes in P15. 1 minute and 54 seconds remaining. The gap coming down ever so slightly, I think, on the previous lap for our race leaders, although it's not going to be close enough, I don't think, for Anderson to close up as Leo Livings makes a move down the inside of Josh Huschke into the left-hander centre 1. Huschke then runs wide. That's going to allow Logan Rolfe to come down the inside. Rolfe with a good move, taking advantage. That's going to move him up into 11th place. Should drop Huschke down into P12. Leaders over the line once again. 1 minute and 19 seconds to go. So they're going to get 3 laps of racing, because they will get round before the time elapses. So we've got 2.5 laps remaining then at the front. This is your battle now with Alfie Mayer in front of Fraser Anderson for 3rd place. Did look like Mayer was trying to put a move on Anderson on the previous lap on that run towards the Gasworks hairpin. Neeson in 5th place in front of Fisher. Then it's Simpson, Weston, Clark and Livings now your top 10. Your leaders though making their way towards Gasworks. Not close enough this time for Arthur Farah to make a move on James Fabricius. Alfie Mayer moving away from Fraser Anderson. Anderson closing up under braking, but then Mayer able to get on the power earlier and move away. Gap though is still 1.7 seconds to the leading duo, and goes out even further this time, albeit only a fraction. 2 laps to go in Micromax with Fabricius and Farah. Farah into the back of Fabricius as they make their way through the single file section of Brian's Bend, the left-hander after turn 1. Just a helpful reminder for Fabricius that Farah is there. Fabricius with a radiator flap adjustment. We've seen him do that a number of occasions today, just trying to get that extra little bit of power out of his engine. You can see there, just to the side of his shoulder, the flap on the radiator moved up. That will open up the top part of the radiator, allow more air into it to try and keep his engine at the optimal racing temperature. Gasworks for the penultimate time. Into the horseshoe. Last lap already being readied on the top. We've got a warning for Morgan Weston being shown over start finish. The hexagonal black and white quarter flag. You might just pick it out as they come over start finish. Down the inside is coming Arthur Farah on James Fabricius. Fabricius has to duck out and go round the outside. Fabricius keeps his foot in but can't hold off Farah. Farah leads then as they begin the final lap into the right-hander of the dogleg. The two behind, Alfie Mayer and Fraser Anderson, hoping that these two slow each other down. Fabricius is back down the inside and Alfie Mayer is right there on the back of this battle for the lead now. Turns out 1.6 seconds was not enough for these two to turn it into a shootout for the victory. Alfie Mayer down the inside of Arthur Farah as they go into the back chicane, and Mayer is through. Farah is going to be slow on exit as well because the door was closed on him. Anderson's going to try and sweep round the outside. Fabricius then leads as they go into the horseshoe for the final time. Round the triple apex left. Mayer's going to have one final opportunity. James Fabricius for BSR takes victory here at round number 1 in Micromax from Alfie Mayer. And then it's going to be Arthur Farah and Fraser Anderson, your top 4. Then there's going to be a massive train of karts for 5th place. Neeson in front of Fisher. Then it's going to be Living, Simpson, Weston and Rolfe. Clark, Hushka and Swire as well, all crossing the line within 2 seconds of each other. Superb race for Micromax. Superb drive out at the front for James Fabricius. Coming under pressure at the end from Arthur Farah. Got down the inside. Alfie Mayer and then Farah turned it into a good race right at the end. Superb racing. But the best thing to say about that is clean racing as well from our front runners in Micromax. Fabricius, Mayer, Farah and Anderson, your top 4 in front of Neeson, Fisher, Living, Simpson, Weston and Rolfe.